From the very beginning of my ex's serious relationship with Josh, tension was inevitable. When she and I split, we worked out a system where we both remained actively involved in our children's lives, no matter whose scheduled time it was. But Josh, from the start, seemed determined to undermine my role as their father. The first incident was at my eldest child's school play. I had arrived early, eager to see my kid perform. When my ex and Josh arrived, he wasted no time questioning why I was even there. His exact words were, "Why are you showing up when it's her time? Your kid already has 2 parents here." That's when it hit me, he was counting himself as one of their parents, even though at the time, he and my ex were only dating. I calmly explained that both of us showing up, regardless of whose custody week it was, had been encouraged by both the judge and the mediator. But Josh made it clear he thought I was unnecessary. That wasn't the last time he overstepped. During a custody exchange, I arrived to pick up my children, only to find Josh holding my youngest. When I reached out for my child, Josh refused to hand them over, claiming they don't want to go with you. They want to stay with me. But my kid, who was visibly reaching for me, told a different story. Only when I told my ex I would be documenting everything did she step in and make him give me my child. Josh's reaction. He accused me of being jealous. But I wasn't jealous, I was their father, and I wasn't going to let someone interfere with that. The incidents kept piling up. At a birthday party for my youngest, hosted by my ex's parents, I was invited. I showed up, as any parent would, but Josh met me with hostility. "You must be desperate to show up somewhere you're not really wanted," he sneered. I simply asked, if nobody wanted me here, why was I invited? He started to answer but stopped himself, probably because he realized the only ones who actually mattered in this were the kids, and they were thrilled to have me there. I noticed the way he glared when they ran to me, excited and happy, while he was left standing there, watching. By the time he and my ex got married, I had documented over 30 incidents of inappropriate interference, boundary crossing, and behavior that, in my eyes, signaled the beginning of parental alienation. I took my ex back to court, presenting the pattern of behavior and raising concerns that Josh's influence could lead to interference with my legal custody rights. The judge took it seriously, so seriously that he warned my ex that if Josh's behavior continued, it could cost her custody. From that point on, Josh was no longer allowed to be present during custody exchanges. That didn't mean the problem disappeared. The texts from him continued, subtle jabs, inappropriate comments, and remarks that skirted the line of violating the custody agreement. I saved every single one. Legally, I couldn't block him because communication needed to remain open in case of emergencies, but I didn't engage unless absolutely necessary. Then my ex made a bold move. She took me to court, requesting that Josh be granted legal guardianship over our children. She argued that he was equally involved and deserved the same legal rights. Her reasoning: it would be simpler if he could sign them up for activities, take them to doctor's appointments, or make decisions without needing our permission. That was where I drew the line. He was not their father. He had no right to override my decisions, no right to have legal authority over my children, and given his history of trying to push me out, I had no doubt that if he were granted those rights, he would take full advantage. So I refused. Was I wrong for that? I don't think so. Being a stepfather is one thing, trying to erase a child's real parent is another. From the moment my ex and Josh became serious, I could tell he was determined to push me out of my children's lives. Over the years, I documented every instance of his interference, over 30 incidents, ranging from undermining my role as a father to outright trying to keep my children from me. It reached a breaking point when my ex took me to court, requesting that Josh be granted legal guardianship over our kids. She argued that since he was deeply involved in their daily lives, he should have the same legal rights as we did. She claimed it would make things easier if he could make medical decisions, sign them up for activities, and act as their guardian in emergencies. But the judge saw through it. Given our history and the fact that our children already had 2 fully engaged parents, the judge denied her request. She made it clear that there was no reason for Josh to have the same legal authority as me and emphasized that if I were to remarry, my ex wouldn't be expected to grant my wife those same permissions either. My ex then asked if this also applied to things like school emergency contact lists, and the judge confirmed that yes, Josh did not need to be added. Our children's emergency contacts remained the same, first my ex, then me, followed by my parents and hers. The judge also ruled that I was not obligated to grant Josh permission to take the kids to the doctor alone. Despite the ruling, my ex and Josh continued pushing. Recently, my ex asked me to voluntarily consent to giving Josh full decision-making abilities when it came to our children. She wanted me to sign off on allowing him to take them to medical appointments, enroll them in activities, and essentially act as a third legal parent. I refused. Josh was never added to the emergency contact list at school because, legally, both parents need to agree, and I didn't. I also didn't grant him permission to take my kids to the doctor without me or my ex present. My ex and Josh were furious when I stood my ground. I explained to her my reasoning. I was not going to open the door for Josh to later claim that I had willingly handed over my parental rights because I didn't care or because I wanted to avoid my responsibilities as a father. I could already see how he might manipulate that narrative to his advantage. Worse, I feared this would give him another way to alienate me from my children, something he had been trying to do since he first entered their lives. I wanted to prevent any further problems before they could even start. But my ex accused me of putting my issues with Josh ahead of the children's well-being. She insisted that I was making this about my personal dislike for him rather than about what was best for our kids. She told me they deserved to have the love of both dads in their lives, arguing that allowing Josh to care for them the way we do was the right thing since he was going to be around for the rest of their lives. She also mentioned that the kids already see Josh as just her husband rather than a real parental figure, and she believed that would only worsen if I continued treating him as an outsider. She made a final argument that stuck with me. She said our kids have two men filling the role of a father, but only one of us is receiving the love and affection from them for it. Despite everything, I don't believe I'm in the wrong here. I know what Josh has been trying to do, and I don't trust him. The law is on my side, but morally, am I making the right choice? Am I letting my personal issues with Josh cloud my judgment? Or am I right to stand firm and protect my role as their father before it's too late?